so upset is to make babies. Thank you for clicking to my channel, Busi's Lane. If you are new here, welcome. If you are coming back, thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. Before I start with this video, I think it's important for me to highlight that I do not do gossip videos. This is just for the purpose of helping someone. One of our model celebrity from South Africa was on Instagram. She had posted information that was regarding her marital issues. My interest here was more of how the husband responded. Please watch. The first 3 posts are from the wife, and the next one that I'm gonna put up now is from the husband. That's a response that I am interested in. Unfortunately, guys, my first part of my video got... Guys, I'm so upset right now. My phone is just something else. It went to get fixed. It's coming back worse. Anyway, guys, so I was touched. Personally, I was touched because that guy demonstrated that that he understands his role as a husband. What good is a body without the head? And what good is a head if it cannot cover the body? Hence, the head is put on top of the body. So he is there covering to the wife. In fact, both wife and husband, you're supposed to cover each other. The main reason, again, why I'm doing this, I wanted to highlight something that we forget. I was listening to one couple on YouTube. They were celebrating their 2nd anniversary, which was... They started asking difficult questions about relationships. Okay, they would ask each other in a very, indirect way, but you could see that they are actually asking each other, like, tough questions that sometimes when it's just the two of you, you can't really ask. But I guess they created a platform where they could ask those questions as though they are asking for their fans or their subscribers. So I think that helps because it made the other person not to feel like, oh, why should you ask me that question? You understand? But when you ask with the intention to teach others, or when you are answering a tough question to teach others, with that mind, okay, when I answer this question, I must answer it in a way that will teach others as well. I actually just loved it. It's Diana Okweme, by the way. Happy anniversary. If you happen to come across this video, congratulations for your 2-year marriage and for your 2nd baby. Yeah, may God bless your unity. And yeah, and take you guys to your forever. One thing that rang in my mind as they were saying all these issues, that they were disappointed at times to see couples that seemed very solid, but suddenly they are getting divorced. They were shocked because it seems there's no formula in love. A relationship that you look at from a distance and think that everything, all is well. I wish I could be like that. And then suddenly, boom, they drop, they're getting divorced. So apparently, probably, I don't know, they didn't say that, but I think they've gone through something like that, where if a couple who's their friend has ended up getting divorced. So I see even here in South Africa, the rate of divorce has actually plummeted. It has gone up. I'm not going to mention names, but these insurance companies, there's one particular one that is, they are making millions and millions. The insurance that covers hospital, life cover, it's also divorce. If you are going through a divorce, let us talk for you, let us stand for them, and so on, whatever. But they make it easy for you to get divorced today, because some people with money, they can just pay the insurance and everything is sorted out. So one thing I wanted to highlight with this relationship, marriage issues and what I hardly hear people talk about, I feel like we overlook, and this thing is turning into a pandemic. It's a very invisible element that people are overlooking in these relationship issues, which I feel if people from the start of when they are looking at, oh, we're thinking of getting married or we are dating, I think there should be some way of bringing it in on the surface, bringing it to make people very aware of it. One of the things that people do not know that when they enter a relationship they're going to go through is mental illness. I'll say this again. That is one enemy of relationship, marriage, or family. bonds invisible enemy. Unless a person is visibly mad. As Africans, I'll say, this is in a very broad and general way. I'm not trying to say all Africans are like that, but because amongst the issues that we have, mental illness we tend to overlook, because as Africans we tend to have a big variety of issues that we still are dealing with. We do not have that kind of facilities that are set up to make sure our people they are checked just like that for things like the main one that I want to talk about in this particular video that like concern is maternal post maternal depression. It's mainly depression. You find that when people get married, the next and the obvious step that we know that couples do is to make babies. In that making of babies, a lot of things change, especially for the woman. Because as a woman, I just remember myself before I got married. It was just me, I, and myself. And even then, already, I was worried about myself. Because obviously, I also had at that time of the month, which is my periods, where my hormones will go up and down. And now you become a married woman, where now you're going to have a baby to worry about as well. When I say worry, guys, I just mean the mommy worry. I don't know if you know what I mean, where you're not no longer thinking about yourself alone. You are your family. You are thinking about the household. You are thinking about your spouse. Obviously, on a daily basis. When I say thinking, I mean you have to be that person that thinks in advance about how you run your home. And you have these hormones that also will run you up and down when they feel like it. And you have this baby that might get sick, might this, might that. Babies, all those that have babies, they know what having a baby means. Unless you are lucky, because babies are different. What I'm trying to highlight here, you are this person who is me alone, thinking of yourself when you are single. If you have to go for a date, you only think about yourself. You go if you want to go, you don't go if you don't want. I guess also it counts, when did you get married? If you got married while young, I find it's kind of different than when you are matured. Because when I got my second baby, I was actually in the age that most people do get married at. And by then, I felt a bit stable, a bit comfortable with myself. Obviously, I've had the first baby, so obviously, it was only normal for me to be comfortable. But all I'm trying to raise here, obviously, there's always baby making time in a marriage, in a relationship. And that is the sensitive time, and that is the time that most women change. That's what the husband like to call it. You've changed. And that's the most time that you know that most husbands will start just finding a way of dealing. Different men deal with it differently, but some men, that's the time they start going out there, because they don't know how to diagnose you. They just see you changing. They don't know. And for that matter, life has changed. There's this baby, there's you. And you are probably nagging, you are probably insecure, you are probably looking at your body changing, and you are, so all those things put together, they do create a mental state that, for me, I'd like to call it mental illness for a woman. And of course, for the husband too, because the husband has to deal with certain issues. Guys, I'm being broad here. I know I might touch parts where I might sound insensitive, but I don't mean to be. I don't know about these couples that hear about or see these problems that people are going through. I wouldn't know, but personally, I know myself. Although I was not officially diagnosed, but I know for a fact that I have gone through one type or the other of some sort of illness, which was due to probably post-maternal depression, but I did go through some sort of depression. And I'm not saying this to try to get some sympathy or anything like that, but I'm just wanting to have a loudspeaker and speak it out to anyone who is married, to anyone who has a wife and they're planning to have a child. Know that these issues, they come as part of the package. So some people, because of lack of knowledge, I'll say, a lack of trying to know and research what's happening. My wife wasn't like this. I've dated my wife for probably 5 years, 3 years, whatever, but suddenly after she had a child, she's changed. Or even when before she had a child, or whatever the case is, there's always underlying issues. But what I know, she's got a baby. She's got 2 babies. Both babies are under the age of 2. And the stress, the pressure of that on its own, if you've had a baby, you know. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a counselor, but I've gone through similar issues. So I feel I qualify to say 1 or 2 things. So there are already pressures on her side. And sometimes as women, we do not, how can I put this? We don't have words of what we are going through. We don't. But the frustration sometimes gets to the point where now if your partner does something, however little it can be, whatever he's done, you're like, really? Like, really? Like, really? Especially with this time of internet and all, I always believe there's always a name for it. And I know I used to joke about it long back. I used to say, white people, they have it easy. They will name every little thing, everything, all this, all that, all this. But at the end of it, they are right. You have to give it a name for you to know how to solve it. And that is the problem. Us women not knowing what the name is of whatever it is that we are going through. We don't know the name. And when you don't know the name, you cannot identify it. And when you can't, then you cannot solve it. You cannot look for solutions for it because you cannot name it. And we get to that frustration right at the bottom of that pressure pot, pressure cooker. And unfortunately, when someone is under pressure, who is the next person do they get and release the pressure on? It's the closest to you, which is usually the husband. Same thing with the husband. If the husband is getting all the pressure at work or whatever the case is, the person that he will let the steam off on is usually the spouse, the wife or the girlfriend or whatever. So I guess in a marriage, it works, it becomes too much because you feel like, this is not what I signed up for. I guess even men do that. I'm just speaking for women in general, in a broader spectrum. I'm not saying all women say what I'm saying or go through what I've gone through, but in general, because women do give birth, and when they give birth, hormones change, go up and down and whatever, and things happen, the pressure, the baby, the coping. And she is a YouTuber. She's a very energetic YouTuber. She does posts. She's very consistent and all that. So trying to keep that balance, finding that balance, I guess it can be different when you've just now had a baby, a second baby, and all babies are less than 2. I'm not sure about the firstborn now, but I'm guessing, yeah, I think he should be less than 2 because they were just now celebrating their 2nd anniversary. So 2 babies who are both under 2, they are still both wearing nappies. Assuming, I'm not trying to now dissect their relationship. I'm talking also from my own experience. You know what? My husband often wonders why I'm so now energetic, so now wanting to do YouTube and all that. That's because, guys, I got married early. And I started making these babies early, and I'm now done. And the energy is still there. At some point, yes, it didn't seem that it's going to come back. I was thinking, I'm done, I'm finished, I'm just, But my kids now are very independent and serve themselves. And so all I'm trying to say, guys, it's unfortunate that other couples give up. And my closing remark about this is that, like when you're having your vows, when you're saying your vows, there's that vow that says in goodness and in bad. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it's talking about goodness and in bad. It didn't say in goodness I'll be with you, in riches I'll be with you. You even say when in riches and in poor, goodness and in bad. Now I won't lie, guys. I've been to that point where I thought also I'm quitting. Yeah. But I'll tell you something, guys. I wasn't getting to that point of quitting because I wanted to quit. I was getting to that point because I thought my spouse has had it. So I thought to myself, I never want to be a nuisance. If some way I can force someone when they are ready to be done. But as soon as my husband showed signs that and said it, that he is willing to work at it. He still wants to be with me. Yes, we've got this very big elephant in between us, separating us, but we would like to eat up this elephant. We would like to try. You understand? So it's one thing to have issues and the problems, and you can never not have issues in a marriage or in any relationship. You always gonna have issues because you are two different people. But it doesn't mean that just because that problem is there now, the problem now has now become above you. It has to make it be an end all. Because now this relationship is here, now we have to end. You understand? So it's unfortunate that when people reach that level where they can say, I'm done. Now my question would be, are you done because of this problem, or are you done because did you try to look for solutions? Because in every marriage, guys, there is no problem that is new. Like Coco, no. Even Coco, there are cousins. There is a trace of cousins before Coco. If there is a problem that has been there before and other people overcame it, you surely can overcome it. Because sometimes you find that you love your spouse, but there's this big thing in front of you. Unless you have stopped the love, which I don't know how it's possible. I don't know. Because love is not a feeling, it's a decision. Unfortunate when it does happen, and well, it does happen. So, but I just wanted to raise that point and stressed a lot about the mental illness on women. That's because I'm a woman and I've gone through it myself. But I cannot speak for men. But I should assume if you are with a person who is suffering from a mental or some sort of mental illness, it's also going to affect you as a man. Yes, you might not have an illness yourself. You might find ways to cope, but look at the way that you are trying to use to cope. So if the way you are coping is because is by way of getting help, getting counseling, getting this, getting that, kudos to you. But if your way of getting help is you start drinking, you start abusing substance, you start womanizing, which it does happen. Because now this man is trying to cope because there's shakara at home. So if that is the case for the man, I am not a doctor, but I would say that is also some sort of illness if the man was not ever doing such things before. So there's a lot of illnesses that are going around. I remember, before closing, my first time experiencing a person who had a mental illness, which we did not know at the time, was my grandfather. I'd be watching a soap with you and he'll be like, I know this man, I've seen his face, and we'll laugh and be like, hey, where did you see him? And he'll be telling you, I used to hunt with him when I was a boy. Such stories. And as children, we just laughed at it. You understand? When my mom comes from work, he wouldn't recognize my mom. He would always ask, oh, so who did you say your name was? And where do you come from? Where are your